guys, Lori here. I'm back to do another BookMas video for you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying BookMas. So today's video is going to look at the contemporary / thriller books that I'm looking forward to in 2021. Now, as 2020 has proven to us, these dates are subject to change, considering we're still in the midst of a pandemic. But I am hopeful that they will be a little bit more reliable than last year's due dates, but we will see. So the first book I'm going to chat about is from Emma Lord, and I loved Tweet Cute last year, but this book that she's coming out this year is You Have a Match. Here is a pretty cover. Out on January 12th, which is actually pretty early into the year, and I really love Tweet Cute, but this one is kind of a parent trap themed novel. Basically follows this girl, and she winds up taking a DNA test, hoping to prove something to her crush. But it comes about realizing that she has a younger sister that it's like a Instagram star, and she doesn't understand why this girl was given up for adoption, what happened, what led to this. So her only course of action is to kind of go to the summer camp and meet up with her and identify like what happened to her and kind of untangle the secrets of her past. And she's kind of dealing with that, but also the romance with this guy she likes. It just sounds super cute. I really love Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. I actually have an e-arc of this. I actually might try to read it before 2021. It is a goal, but it just sounds adorable. And I loved Emma Lord's writing in Tweet Cute, so I think that this will be an equally fun one. And it's set at a summer camp, and it just sounds like an adorable novel. So this is one that I'm definitely really excited to read. If not in 2020, then definitely in 2021. And I'll definitely give you guys my thoughts. Chat about is another early release, and this one is a thriller, and it is The Project from Courtney Zummer. It is coming out February 2nd. And this has been the year, at least for me, for the NXIVM cult. That is like a cult that blew up this year. It was like a lot of information was out about it. I've always been fascinated by cult books just because I was a psych major in college, and I still find those to be super compelling and super fascinating. But this follows a young girl named, let me see if I can find it. I have like 1,000 windows open at once. It follows a girl named Lo, and after her parents died, her sister B wound up joining this cult, and she wound up living with her grandparents after her sister's dies. But when someone comes to her saying that this cult killed her son, she goes deep undercover to try to figure out what's going on to possibly get her sister back. But when she starts entangling with the captivating leader, she learns things are not what they seem. I have not finished reading Sadie yet, but it is high on my list. And this book just sounds so awesome. I actually have an e-arc of it. So again, this is another one I might try to get to earlier than 2021, but it's definitely high on my list. And I know her books do really well, like as audiobooks as well. Like I know people love them, but this is like an adventure book that she has to kind of save herself. But she goes undercover to try to save her sister. And I guess she kind of gets sucked in as well. So it sounds really cool. It comes out February. I'm really excited for it. I'm going to chat about is The Taste of Love by Jennifer Yen. Also comes out February 2nd and involves a young Asian American girl named Lisa, and her mom thinks she is not as focused as she wants her to be. She's not like her sister. But the one thing her and her mom agree on is baking, and she's trying to prove to her mom that she is like, she's not as flighty or not as like unfocused as she thinks she is. So her mom convinces her to join the annual area baking competition because they run a bakery. And she wants to prove to her that her rebellious tendencies are gone once for all. But when Lisa arrives at the baking competition, she realizes it's men that her mom wants her to date, which I think is hysterical. And that kind of sends her on an adventure, and it's basically a bachelorette type situation, and she has a boy that she starts to have her eye on, even though she swore she won't catch feelings. So sounds cute. Comes out in February. I've really been liking my baking shows recently, like Nailed It and stuff like that. So I find this to be a very, very fun backdrop for a YA contemporary novel, and I'm really excited for it. There's also a couple of other ones coming out this year. I don't think they've been announced. They may come out later in the next couple of years, but culinary YA novels I've been hearing a lot about it recently. And then the next book we are going to kind of chat through is The Bad Muslim Discount by Masoon, by Syed Masoon, and that comes out in February as well. I was able to finish his not just a pretty face by this author in 2020, and I really liked it. So this book is a little bit different, but it follows two major characters. It follows two families from Pakistan, from Pakistan and Iraq from 1990s to San Francisco in 2006. The Bad Muslim Discount is an inclusive comic novel about Muslim immigrants finding their way in a modern America. And it just follows these two characters. It's 1995, and Azir Fazir is a restless, rebellious, and sharp-tongued boy doing his best to grow up in Kurs of Pakistan. And when his family suddenly moves to California, their life isn't exactly what they thought it was be. For his part, Billy is fully committed to being what he calls a bad Muslim, and at the same time, Sarah found a girl from Wartong Bangor with her grief-stricken conservative father will find a very different and far more dangerous path to America. When Anvar's and Sappho's worlds collide as two remarkable, strong-willed adults, their contradictory, intertwined fates will rock their community and families to the core. So this definitely sounds like a much more politically based novel, a little bit of historical fiction tied in, and I really liked his first novel. I will definitely be checking this out. But it does feel like it will probably deal with harder topics, and I'm all for that. I love books that just kind of give me a different point of view. So sounds really cool, and I like that it's potentially will be a dual point of view novel. I tend to like those a little bit more. But yeah, I'm really excited for this and can't wait to see what comes out of it and what the book becomes when I get a chance around reading it. And the next one is one that I am very excited for, and that is the newest book from Emily Weberly and Austin Sigmund Broke. An actual husband and wife pair that writes these contemporaries, and I have read all of them, like all their books recently, and this one just sounds right up my alley. In 2020, I read Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, and this sounds like another like rivals to lovers story, but it basically follows these two characters. It follows Allison and Ethan, and they are super competitive. They compete against each other for everything, valedictorian, you name it, recommendations to college. But their vice principal winds up teaming them up so that they have to work on co-planning the previous class 10 years reunion with the promise of recommendation for Harvard if they do, and they have to work together. And they are not the biggest fan of this idea, and I'm sure hilarity, drama, and probably some romance will ensue, but I really love their writing style. Their last couple of ones were like Shakespeare retellings, and I love those a lot. Their other one was really interesting, so I'm sure that this one will be a little bit more not Shakespeare, but I wonder if we're going to see characters from the other books, because that's what they do. They have tie-ins with all their other books, so really excited for this one, and the date that this one comes out is April 20th, so I'll have to wait a little bit for this one, but I am totally there for it. Next book we are going to chat through is a book by Becky Albertalli, and I am really excited for this read. Also, a side note, I don't know when it's coming out, but I do know that Becky and Adam Silvera are teaming up to write a sequel to What If It's Us, which I really like that book. I'm really excited for that. I don't know if it's coming out this year or the next year, but I know that the release date hasn't been released yet because I would have seen it, but that is another one that I'm equally excited for. But this one is Kate in Waiting. And here is the pretty cover. Summary of this book, and as a former theater person, this is so realistic. So the premise of this book, it follows two best friends. I'm really hoping it's a dual point of view. It doesn't say it in the little break. Follow these two best friends, Kate and Anderson. They're best friends. They do everything together. People even assume they're a little bit codependent on each other for that. However, everything comes crashing to a halt when Kate and Andy's long-distance crush shows up at their school and winds up sending things aflutter. And Matt is talented and sweet. Kate likes him. She really likes him. The only problem is so does Anderson. And when feelings gets involved, you never know who's going to get hurt. And it just sounds like a good book about friendship, theater, which hey, as a theater teacher, I will read all the theater books I can get my hands on. And it is coming out in April 20th, but it sounds like a book that's really going to focus a lot on female friendship, and I've really been liking the books I've been tackling about that recently, but it also just, again, theater books, I will read all the theater books that I can get my hands on, so I'm really excited for that, but it comes out in April, and I will definitely be checking it out. What I'm going to chat about is Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan. This is the author that wrote Hot Dog Girl and wrote Verona Comics. I definitely preferred Verona Comics, but I'm definitely going to be reading this one. Here's this gorgeous cover. So pretty. Color scheme is amazing, as you. So this book has a really interesting concept, and I'm totally here for it. But it basically follows these two girls, and it follows Morgan, who is an elite track athlete, but she's forced to switch schools when she is outed as being queer in her Catholic private school, and she has to leave her school and go to a new school. And when she goes to the school, she finds this very interesting girl named Ruby, who has two hobbies: tinkering with her baby Blue and competing in a local beauty pageants to live out the dreams of her overbearing mother. These two are drawn to each other and they can't deny their feelings, but while Morgan is out and proud and determined to have a fresh start, doesn't want to keep their building relationship secret, Ruby isn't ready to come out yet. And with each girl on a different path living her truth, can they go the distance together? So this sounds like a very hard-hitting contemporary novel with some really interesting, elements to it, like the beauty pageant, but also the tinkering car elements. Also, the two girls on different self-discovery paths. I'm really hoping, like Verona Comics, it is a dual-person one because I really prefer that in my YA contemporaries. But sounds great, and I will definitely be checking it out. Some Girls Do does come out in May, as does Sunkissed by Casey West, which comes out May 4th specifically. So I'm just going to chat through what Sunkissed by Casey West is about, and I will give you guys my thoughts on it, but the summary is a little bit vague. But I have read all of her contemporary reads and have liked, of course, some more than others, but overall, I really like them. So I am expecting this one to be another fun summer read that I will definitely devour. But this one follows a girl named Avery, and when her best friend betrays her and her parents send her to a middle of the nowhere with a cabin, she's kind of out of her element, and she's kind of caught up with what she wants to do next. But when she meets a boy named Brooks at this abandoned cabin, it kind of changes what she thinks the summer is going to be, and she's really excited about it. And then Brooks kind of offers her the chance of a lifetime. I don't know what that means, but it kind of sends her summer in a different direction. I really do like contemporary reads that focus a lot on self-discovery. I don't think that it's always the focus. It definitely has to do more with romance in a lot of them, but this one seems to have a better balance, and I'm really excited to read it. So another one for early May that I'm really excited for. Next book I'm going to chat about, it doesn't actually have a cover yet, but it's by Ashley Elston, and it's a companion book to her 10 Blind Dates, which I'm in the middle of re-listening to right now. And this book is called 10 Truths and Dare, and this one follows Olivia, who is Sophie's cousin that we met in 10 Blind Dates. And she's basically getting ready to graduate, but a small issue kind of affects her in her graduation. So she has to kind of go jump through a bunch of hoops to kind of save her graduation so she can graduate with her friends. And I guess something happens, so she has to, her mom doesn't want her working at this golf course, I guess, for, some reason. So she has to enlist her cousins to kind of take her phone so they can live the life as Olivia so she could do this. I really love the first book in this series, so much. I thought Olivia was a fun character. Now that I know that she's going to be the lead, I'll pay a little bit more attention to her on my reread because I'm literally reading it right now. This book sounds adorable. I love the big family element. I love that we're going to see those characters again. Sounds great. Coming out in May. High on my TBR for sure. And it sounds like a perfect summer read. And then the next book I am going to chat through is We Can't Keep Meeting Like This by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which also I think comes out in June. I really loved Rachel Lynn Solomon's well, I think it's like her third book, but this one was a little bit more lighthearted. It was called Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, and I have to get around and reading her other books that are a little more hard-hitting. But this book deals with wedding planning, and I said this before, and you guys will see it if you keep following me. I love a good, like, concept YA novel. This one also has a lot of Jewish representation. It was the same in Today, Tonight, Tomorrow, and it's the same in this one from what the summary says. But you basically follow Quinn and Tariq, and they have been in business together for years. One set of parents is a wedding planner, the other is a catering company. And they had an unexpected issue when one of them confessed their love to the other one in an email, and then they just never talked about it. They went off to college and they never had a conversation about it, which makes things super awkward, I would assume. Quinn has been dreading this season as much because she plays harps for the wedding. And then they wind up crossing paths. They clash. They're having a lot of issues with each other. And they can't seem to have one civil convocation together, and then I'm sure things happen as the wedding season heats up. Sounds great. Definitely going to be checking out. Might actually put this in as a pre-order because it comes out in June. I read my contemporaries in June. Really excited for it. So yeah, this is another one that I'm really equally excited about. And then the next book I am going to chat about in this video is called Take Me Home Tonight. And this is by Morgan Matson, who I've waited 2 years for a new book from Morgan Matson. So I'm really excited for this one. Matson is definitely one of my favorite authors of all time, like one of my favorite YA contemporary authors, and this book just sounds right up my alley. It is set in New York City, follows 2 girls, one night, 0 phones, as they romp through the city that never sleeps from New York bestselling author Morgan Matson. And they get off the train in New York City's, and family dramas, destroyed phones, and unexpected peridiums. Over the next few hours, they have to grapple with old fames, terrible theater, and unhelpful cab drivers. They both get a wake-up call about their friendship, their choices, and they finally discover what they really want from their future. And I'm sure that this will have a tie-in romance to it, which it always does. She writes such fun contemporary novels that just are so hard-hitting. I really like the last couple of ones she did. Save the Date was more family-themed, but this one I spy is going to be a little bit more like The Unexpected Everything, which dealt a lot with friendship, which was one of my favorite stories. I really can't wait to get this one. It's definitely going to be a book that I definitely wind up pre-ordering for sure. I'll probably wait because the last time she had a book signing, she went to McNally Jackson, and with the nature of everything happening with this pandemic, I am unsure if we're going to have in-person events, but I really love her as an author, and I can't wait to see what this book is. So definitely counting down the days until June or actually, is this one come out in June or May? This one comes out May 4th, so we don't have to wait that long. May 4th it comes out. And then the next book I am going to chat through in this video is Between Me and the Honeyboons by Amelia Coombs, and here is a photo. In 2020, I did read her debut novel, which I loved. I thought it was really, really fun. It dealt with a lot of harder issues like anxiety and depression and a fun bowling alley, a really, really cute romance. This one seems like similar. It has like a cool concept. Again, I've said this before, I loved cool concept YA novels that have like a fun concept. This one is really unique as well. But this one follows a young girl named Josie, and she's really excited to graduate from high school, ready for summer full of sunshine, beekeeping, and lying to her mom. Josie's mom is really excited that she got accepted to college, but little does her mom know, Josie's plan is not to go to college, but take over the family's Hazeldean honey business. Her mom does not know that, so her mom assumes she's just going to college. Josie is going to come clean, but not quite yet because she has some things she wants to do first. And then when she comes across a neighborhood artsy adorable grandson who's in town with her, makes Zoe both lives even more tangled. He's into Josie and the feelings are very mutual, but he's a bluesman, the sworn enemy of the Hazeltons, and the #1 competition in the annual honey show at the end of July. As their secret fling goes on, getting away too deep for them to leave behind when summer's over. Again, this is a competition novel. This has a cool job, has self-discovery. I am totally here for it. Again, I really cannot wait for these contemporary reads. They all sound so great. This is another one high on my list to tackle in 2021. There is not much known about this book because it just got announced. But I did want to mention Jessica Goodman's next book. She wrote They Wish They Were Us, and I read it and I liked it. But her next book is They'll Never Catch Us, and it follows two sisters vying for the top spot on their cross-country team, the only way out of their stifling small town, but their dreams are suddenly thrown in peril when a new girl threatens to take everything they work for until she disappears. And I guess they are connected in the possible disappearance of this girl. So that sounds interesting. I did like the first one, her first book. They Wish They Were Us. I thought it was interesting, a kind of a unique murder mystery, so I'm sure this one will kind of go in the same vein. And then the next book I'm going to talk about in this video doesn't have much on it, but also They'll Never Catch Us is going to come out in July. As If on Cue by Marissa Cantor is another book that is coming out in September, and I read her debut book and it was adorable. It was so cute. And this book has to do with a high school musical, it's called As If on, what's it called? It's called As If on Cue, and this comes out in September, and there really is not much known about it other than a title and a release date, but I really liked her first book. I thought it was so fun, so like just fandom-y. Like I just thought it was a fun fandom bookish novel that had to do with like a book blogger and stuff like that. This one is going to be more being into like the theater and music scene, and it sounds awesome. I'm really excited for it. And then the last book I'm going to chat about in this video is called The Pickup, and that is from Miranda Kennelly. I think I'm saying that name right. I will be honest, I don't know much about this book. I know that it is coming out in September and it has something to do with a road trip. I read her 4 Days of Me and You this past year and really liked it, so I decided I would just add this to my TBR. But again, I hope you guys like learning about some of the contemporary books that are going to come out in 2021, and I hope we get some more ones announced. It's still super early, but I just wanted to film this a little bit early. And the next video you're going to see is one that's equally exciting, and that is all of the fantasy or science fiction books that I'm excited to read in 2021. Bye guys. Take care and be well. Bye.